Hello, hello. Welcome to Verbling. Hi there. I'm Teacher Oakley. And for the next hour here in this class at Verbling, we're going to be having a conversation about weather. Hopefully, students will have an opportunity to practice a little description. Tell me what the weather's like, where you are, as well as hopefully learn some new vocabulary to discuss weather, and perhaps we'll move into talking a little bit about global warming and the effects of global warming, or the validity of global warming, and we'll have a chance to practice speaking English to give opinions. Okay. Let me welcome a couple of students to the class. Hello, Khaled.
Hello. Hi, Oliver.
Hi, Khaled. How are you today?
Fine, thank you.
Nice to have you here. And hello, Julio.
Teacher, how's it going?
It's going okay, thank you. I just had a horrible lunch.
Wow,
but other than that, no, nothing happened. It's just I had lunch. I had small fish with lots of bones, which it's such a pain in the neck eating fish, with picking out little bones. A little bone caught my throat. Anyway, it tasted good. Yeah, well, yeah.
That's why I don't eat fish.
Yeah, such a pain in the neck. Anyway, we're going to talk about the weather. Let's start real simple. Khaled, what's the weather like where you are today?
We are in the winter, but the weather is the degree about the 11 or 12. It's not cold. It's also the sun is shine. There is no cloud, or it's in the average of the this area. Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, it's about 11 or 12 degrees. Great.
Mm-hmm.
The sun is shining.
Shining. Okay.
Yeah, we use a present continuous verb. It's an action. It is shining.
Shining, right. Yeah. Shining.
Right. Okay. So it's a clear day?
Clear day, right, yeah.
Okay. Clear day. The weather's not too cold, not too hot.
Yeah.
Okay. In such a case, we can say it's fair weather. Nice weather. Fair.
Nice weather.
Yeah. Fair, when we're talking about weather, it's not quite the same. Fair, okay, how did you do on the test? Oh, fair. When we're
50-50.
Yeah, like that. Right.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about weather, when we say it's fair weather, it means it's clear.
No.
It's not too
Clear.
hot, not too cold. That's where the middle is good, right? Right. The middle is good when it comes to weather, really.
Of course.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Oh, great. Okay. I'll talk to you more about the weather where you live in just a second. Julio, how's the weather where you live today or tonight?
It's okay, I guess. It's been a little cool these days, and a little crazy too, a little hectic. Today morning it was drizzling. All morning it was drizzling, and like an hour later, probably around noon, the sun started to shine, and it got a little bit hot. And right now it's 12 a.m. and the temperature is okay. I'm checking my phone. Actually, we are at 21 degrees Celsius, and the humidity is 90 4%. So probably it's gonna rain
Okay.
during the early hours of the morning.
All right. So the temperature's nice, but a little too humid. Okay. One thing. In English, we don't normally say today morning, okay, or today afternoon, or today evening. We just say this. This morning, this evening, this afternoon, it was sunny. All right. Okay. Earlier today was drizzling. Great word. Okay. Almost onomatopoeia. It almost sounds like it is. Drizzling, of course, is slow, heavy drops of rain, steady, that continue. Does when it rains there, is it different all the time, or does it rain kind of the same way all the time? If, uh, Maybe I'm not clear.
Yeah,
When I
I
lived in
understand.
Yeah, you understand. In the United
Yeah.
States, where I lived, it'd be light showers, heavy rain, huge electrical storms, steady drizzle, all kinds of different rain. But now that I live in the Philippines, usually it's like a light switch: on, off, on, off. Either it's pouring or it's not raining. Very, very infrequently does it lightly shower. Okay, a shower's just um, slow, steady rain, small drops. Is a shower. Usually, a shower lasts a long time, like in the spring. Spring showers are kind of normal. Does it rain the same way, Julio, or is it you have different kinds of rain there?
Well, usually where I live, we have like really heavy events of rain, and usually they last for an hour or
Mm,
maybe 3 hours. So while the cloud is discharging, water,
right.
and it's not very stormy. But today morning it was definitely a mild drizzle. So it was kind of different.
Okay. Excellent use of collocation there. All right. Talking about weather, we often say heavy or light rain. That was pretty good. Mild drizzle. That's good. We can we would. It sounds weird to say a heavy drizzle because a drizzle
Not heavy.
is not heavy, right? So it
Yeah.
sounds strange. That's right. Yeah. Okay. I guess you could say a light drizzle or mild
Light
drizzle's
drizzle.
a good collocation. All right. Uh, Khaled, let me ask you about where you live. Do you have any extreme weather events there?
Uh, yeah, I think it's no. In this area, it's we are in the average. The weather is in the summer uh, not so extreme. Sometimes the temperature reach the 40 or 41 degree. But in the winter is it's in the average, so there is no like hurricane or storms or something. It's raining heavy sometimes for 3 hours, but not like west area like in America or I mean destroy the building or something like this. No, we
Right.
are in the average. Yeah, I think we are fair weather. Yeah, as you say, we
Okay.
are.
You're in the what? I'm not catching the word. Sorry. You're in the
Sorry?
average, what? Average? Are you saying
Average. Yeah. Yes,
average?
average.
Average. Okay. All right. I see. Although some people might qualify 40 or 41 degrees as a little extreme temperatures. Some
Yeah,
people
but this,
don't.
yeah, no, no. It's in the, I mean, in the summer, the temperature is within 30, 35, 32. But sometimes, yes, this it seems to us is like extreme, but for other area, it's maybe it's like in Gulf area, it's maybe
Right.
this in summer normal temperature. That's why. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's okay. That's very similar to where I live now in the Philippines. 32, 35 in the summer.
Mhm.
One quick note before I forget. Pronunciation hurricane. Hurricane.
Hurricane. Not
Hurricane.
hurricane.
Yeah, it's
Hurricane. Yeah, hurricane.
hurricane. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So that's good. Are there ever floods or droughts? The opposite of a flood, too much water, is a drought. No rain for a long time. Do you ever have floods or droughts?
You mean long time no raining?
That's right.
Yeah, last week it was raining heavy, but this week it seems like now we are in the end of the week. It's still no raining. So it's in the winter it's week by week to week by one. It seems like not raining for all the times, and also it's mix.
Okay.
There is some rotation between the
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not raining all the time. You can't really say not raining for all the time. Not raining all the
For
time.
all the time. All the
Yeah,
time.
we don't say for all the time. Okay. All right. Again, Khaled, where are you again?
I'm in Libya.
Right. Okay. And are you closer to the ocean or more inland toward the mountains?
Not ocean. I'm close to the sea, Mediterranean.
Well, Mediterranean Sea. Okay. Well,
Mediterranean. Yeah, yeah,
that's
not the ocean.
that's well. Okay, that's what I meant. But all right.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I
it's
understand. Yeah.
attached. It's attached to the ocean. Okay.
Attached
Okay.
to the ocean. Yes. Yeah.
Sure. Khaled, Libya has mountains, right? More inland.
Yeah, we has mountain. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have mountain. Yes. Yeah.
Do you ever get snow in Libya, like in the mountains?
We have get snow even not in the mountain in the some area like in capital city in Tripoli, but maybe it's come
Really?
for every 10 years, once every 10 years. But in the mountain it's more often than us. But for us, maybe once every 10 years or something like this. Something strange. Yeah, not usual.
Okay. All right.
And
Oh,
small, not, I mean, some snow.
right.
Little snow.
Not a huge blizzard. Okay,
Yes,
a
of
lot of
course.
snow is a blizzard. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that it ever snowed in Tripoli. That's interesting. Nader, hello. Welcome to the class. Hi. Oh, okay. Typing. Typing in this class. All right. Okay. Type me the weather. How's the weather there? How's the weather doing today? Okay. All right. While you're typing, Julio. Julio, you have extreme weather events where you live?
Not really, nothing too extreme. Um, we do have some floodings, but I think the reason why we got this is for the bad infrastructure that our city has
Mm-hmm.
regarding to um, like the kind of the pipes that discharge the water to the ocean. We litter a lot, or a lot in my city people litter a lot. So we kind of got that problem several residential areas. Sometimes when the rain is really heavy, the downpour,
Mm-hmm.
They get flooded. But other than that, it's fine.
Okay. Right. So the sewers or the sewer drains, sewer system, I could say, is not adequate to handle a lot of rain, or maybe also because of pollution. That that happens where I live in the Philippines as well. Just sometimes
Yeah,
humans cause their own problems, when it comes to the weather. Uh, I mean, seriously, sometimes people do the stupidest things, like when you throw garbage into the sewer all day, every day. Normally, it gets full of garbage, yeah, right? Uh, and that's going to
yeah.
cause
Actually,
problems.
in my case, I try not to litter, but there are not enough like waste cans around the
Mhm.
city. So sometimes I'm eating snacks and maybe another bottle of soda, and then I don't have anywhere to put it. So after a while of just being carrying it, I just get tired of it, and I don't know. I try to find a place, but if
Yeah,
I don't find any, I just put it somewhere,
yeah,
and that's that's not good.
yeah. Okay, well, I can relate. It's very similar where I live. Other stupid things people do, like I don't know. Sometimes, for example, I've seen where I live in the Philippines, they'll burn down an entire mountainside, all the forest, just burn the whole thing, just to create charcoal. For a quick buck, they can sell charcoal. I don't know. It's cheap, but they just bag it up and they sell charcoal. And some people cook barbecue or whatever with charcoal. Well, great. That's wonderful. You've made a little money for right now. But then that forest you just burned down that takes 20 years to grow, now there's nothing to prevent the water coming from an entire mountainside and just washing out the village. Incredible. Yeah,
Isn't there any sort of authority that actually look, looks after for these forests?
there most certainly should be. I mean, I would agree with your idea. Absolutely, there should be. But is there? Well, no. It's all very localized, which I like the fact that the government is extremely localized and there's not a lot of federal control. I like that, but on the other hand, in cases like this, towns that have stupid leaders have stupid problems. Simple. Pretty simple. Yeah. Well, anyway. Uh, okay. Uh, Is there, okay, I have another question. All right. Hey there, sounds like the weather's pretty pleasant there, 14 to 25. Nice. Have you guys noticed really at all, maybe you haven't, any changes in the weather patterns where you live? There's a lot of talk these days, of course, about climate change, global warming, and so on. Have you actually witnessed any changes in the weather where you live? Nader, you can type it if you want. Khaled?
I think yes, I totally agree that there is some changes because usually last time it was the winter came early. I mean, in the mid of October. And this year we lost the winter until maybe last week. So it's very too late. It's just raining maybe last week. So I think it's like we were in the last 2 months, like in the summer continues or something like this. So I think we we face some changes, changing in the weather. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, when I was in Turkey in November, usually I went there every year at the same time. I feel that the also in Turkey is still no raining and something like this. Yeah. I don't
Ah.
know if the Julie from the Turkey he can explain to us if he from Turkey.
Yeah. Okay. We need someone from Turkey to join
Yeah.
us for information. Excuse me. Pardon me. Yeah. Okay. The seasons changing. The actual when the seasons are. Khaled, that's. Yeah. I talked to a lot of students who have noticed that, and I have definitely noticed that. I've been living in the Philippines for 8 years, and I have also talked to many people here. We just had another giant typhoon in December. This is supposed to be a once in 100 years event. You may have heard this expression, a 1 in 100 year event, often talking about weather. Uh, but we have now had a typhoon in December every year for the last 3 years. So we're covered for 300 years. Terrific. Somehow I have a feeling we're going to have one next year again. Anyway, what you're saying about the seasons changing, I couldn't agree more. I'm sitting here, it's December, it's mid-December. It should be about 20 degrees. It's not. It's about 30. And it has been every day this month. And it really should be around 20. And it's annoying. It's annoying because I really enjoy this kind of. This is a cooler part of the year for me. So anyway, it's tough. That's you have to adjust when the seasons change. I've heard a lot of this from people, students in Russia, for example. I guess the seasons are changing a lot. Of course, this is going to affect growing patterns for food and animals where they live, all kinds of things. Birds migrating, all kinds of crazy stuff. Nader, you're asking about, I don't really get what you're asking me. How to say, excuse me? What? Pardon me? Excuse me? That's one of those things that's all about intonation. Yeah, it's all about, okay, there's 50 ways to say it, and your intonation says it all. Okay? You can be very polite. Excuse me, using the drop rise. Excuse me, pardon me. Or you can be very rude and sarcastic. Excuse me. Excuse. Oh, I get it. Pronunciation. Oh, X. It's the X sound. Sometimes EX sounds like eggs, like exaggerate. Sometimes it sounds like X. It's X. Excuse. Excuse me. Okay, I see. Pronunciation. All right. Okay. How about you, Julio? Are any weather patterns changing there in
Not at
Mexico?
all.
Not
Not
at
at
all.
all. The weather is the same. I think that people are overreacting when it comes to global warming and that stuff. I totally believe that's a scam.
You do.
And yeah, I
You
do. I do.
come here and live in
And
the Philippines for about a year and then tell me that. Really,
well,
seriously.
let me tell you something. Anywhere in the world, the climate varies, and you might be experiencing higher temperatures, and somewhere in the world they are going to be experiencing lower temperatures. But that happens. That
Right.
happens in those
Right.
100-year events. Well, they happen. I mean, we have no
Hmm.
control over them, and I think we are going back to the ancient cultures, like we were like watching the weather and trying to think that it's our fault. That if it's raining too much, it's because we are polluting too much. That if it's too cold, maybe we are doing something wrong. But instead of
Hmm.
praising a God, we are just trying to embrace other beliefs. So I
Uh-huh.
think the weather is always going to change. It's always going to vary, and we will always feel like we have something to do with it. But I honestly don't think so. And there is plenty of scientific evidence that totally denies global warming. And actually, in the past 17 years, as I was reading the other day, um, pretty much the temperature of the planet has essentially been flat. So for 17 years, we haven't experienced any uh, global warming. So if we are not experiencing global warming, then why should we talk about that the weather is changing because of it?
Okay. Not sure where you're what see it all depends where you're getting your data from. That's why it's such a confusing topic. I've seen just as much data that says yes, it has in fact raised 1.3 centigrade is the number that I've seen in quite a few different studies consistently put out there. 1.3 in 100 years. That's a long time, of course. But I'm being that I can see things with my eyeballs. I tend to agree. I tend to, my brother-in-law lives at the ocean. He lives basically on a sandbar in the ocean. He's a fisherman, and he lives there every day, so he doesn't really see anything going on. I go to visit him maybe once every 6 months, and every time I go, my first reaction is, holy shit! Oh my God, that suddenly the ocean is creeping up towards his house. Of course, he doesn't see it. It's incremental. It's slowly, little bit by little bit. But I notice it. I notice it a lot. Whoa, the place where you know, 5 years ago, the place where you have your boat was 30 meters from the shore, and now it's 10 meters from the shore, from the same, high tide, whatever. And
But
when you don't see it, it's like, oh my God, yes, the something's happening here. Whether the tides are changing or the actual ocean levels rising, I can see a change over time. My brain is going to think there is a change. I can't deny what my eyeballs see, or pictures I've taken, of me standing on the beach. Hard for me to deny that.
yeah, but
I have a,
that's normal. That happens. I mean, in the past we had an
right,
ice age. We have a time where everything was flooded, everything was underwater. So things change
right.
naturally. This is a dynamic environment. So we don't have to
Okay.
feel guilty over it.
We don't have to feel guilty, but do we have to do anything about it, or should we just say, well, it's natural, we should expect it?
Well, we do have to do things about it, but for the right reasons, and that's because we do impact other species. We do impact our local environment, and we want to create a culture of or environmental awareness and environmental care because that's good for us as a society, but not because we need to be scared of a phenomenon that is not happening.
So you're simultaneously telling me it's happening and it's not happening.
No, I'm saying that it's the wrong reason trying to do that because we believe that we are causing the global warming stuff. We need to take care of the environment, of course, because it's part of one of our values. We need to be
Okay.
cooperative with the environment itself, with the other species, but not because we
Yeah.
are impacting in that huge amount.
So let me. I really. Okay. I tend to agree with the science because I've read white papers and scientific papers about experiments done with trapping CO2, and I realize that there is a science involved, which is measurable, not imaginary conjecture and theory. There is science behind it, and just to convince myself that it was true, I've sat for hours looking at white papers. So I know there is an effect of CO2 trapping heat. That, for me, I'm 100% sure of that. I know that exists. I've done the research. But, okay, my question to you, is there room for doubt, any doubt in your mind, or are you 100% sure that there's no way that it's in any way human related? Could it not be partly human related? Could it be, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I understand your question. I understand where you're going with it. And I'm not a close-minded person. I mean, I don't have the absolute truth. Nobody has it. And yes, of course, there is doubt. But
Okay.
I mean, I think that this should be part of our culture as human beings, not
Hmm.
just because to be scared of the weather. You know. So
Right.
what happens if we actually experiment not a global warming but a global cool down? What's going to happen? Everybody's going to say, oh, okay, this thing is already going into a different direction, so let's start polluting again. So this has to be in ourselves. It no,
Right.
we don't have to be scared about the weather or the pollution.
Okay.
That's going to happen anyway.
So one way or the other, we have to do things to protect the environment. Well, yeah, okay. All right. So we're in agreement on that point. The one thing that I find strange is that people that are 100% sure it's non-human related and we should not do anything about it. We should not invest in looking at renewable sources or trying to develop less polluting forms of energy and so forth. That attitude kind of bothers me. It seems ridiculous. That's like saying we should not progress, which of course is impossible. You can't stop humans from progressing. It's never going to happen. So it's just a bit silly in my opinion. And also, I look at it like I have a fire extinguisher in my house, not because I believe my house is going to catch on fire, but because I believe there's a possibility, even though it is very remote. One out of 100,000 houses catch on fire? There's a tiny, tiny possibility. But nevertheless, I'm going to invest time and money to make sure that I can do something about it. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, let me see what Colette and Nader think about it. Nader, you think it is human related? All right, you put that out there. Sure, sure. Okay, why? It's hard to converse with you. I wish we could talk while you're typing. Simultaneous conversations. Khaled, what do you think? What is your view about the whole controversy? What is your opinion? Now's your time to practice giving opinion in English. What is your opinion about the whole climate change controversy?
You know, we hear about a lot of reports or news about the climate change. It may be because our environment and the climate change from the human itself. They made a lot of carbon and everything. The Amazon has changed, something like this. I think it's maybe this could be one reason. But as a Muslim, I believe that everything is maybe even there is some reasons like that, but it's kind of the God. I mean, because we believe that as a Muslim, we believe that it will be changed. I mean, this area, maybe it will be like in another area, something like it will be coming in future. This is what our Prophet Muhammad tell us. I mean, but so that's why maybe it's one. There is a lot of reasons, but at the end, the plant will be changed. I mean, I mean, there is a big change when the end day will come. You understand me?
I think so,
the second
but
life. I mean, the second life. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I'm a
believe
little.
in the second life, so that's why. So the everything will be changed when we reach that time. So
Okay, so I'm sorry, pardon my ignorance, but I'm a little unfamiliar. I'm familiar with some of the Judeo-Christian beliefs,
Yeah, that's why.
some of them in the okay, basically end of the world or the
Yeah.
well, all right. So okay, is there any in the Quran? Is there anything specific about weather? In,
Not in the Quran, but in the because we have Quran and also we have what our Prophet Muhammad say. Also,
yeah.
it's part of our belief. But, I mean, we follow Quran and Sunnah. We call Sunnah.
Okay.
Sunnah, what our Prophet Muhammad say. So there is a lot of thing that like how many. In the prayer we made how we made the prayer is not the Quran not telling us the how we pray, but
Right.
our Prophet Muhammad say how we can pray, something like this. So in the Sunnah we have some news or I don't because I not have complete picture about that, but I know that there's a big change even
Okay.
in the plates or something like this. Yeah.
Okay. Because the Bible, of course, has revelations, and it's
Mm.
poetic. It's interpretive. It says there's a lot of things, but I don't know if there's anything specifically. I don't know. There's things about rain of fire, and I don't know if we could really interpret that as being about the weather. Oh, there are things about earthquakes and fires and devastation, but I don't know if we could actually say it has to do with the weather or not. I'm not sure. Matter of interpretation. But anyway, oh, all right.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yes, because there is some. I mean, I will make sure about this. Uh, I mean, this news, but there is something in As-Sunnah is the area of Gulf area or something in where the Arab live. It will be more green and like in the Europe area or something like so. So that's mean it should be some climate change or something like this to make this happen. I mean,
Okay.
so that's why it's not direct to the weather,
Ah,
but you can yeah.
yeah. Deserts will change, become like
Yes, the
oasis
desert,
later.
the desert will change, something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that too. I believe that too, of course, and I completely, I also agree with Julio that there, and you gentlemen as well. Of course, everything's going to change if we look at the history of the Earth over such a
Yeah.
long period of time. Things have changed a great deal. Hello, America was an ocean. It didn't even exist. Mountains were there that weren't mountains before. Of course, things are going to change. Deserts become forests. Forests becomes deserts. Of course, absolutely. And will it happen? Continue to happen? I'm sure of it. I'm absolutely sure. But
Well, I mean,
uh,
let me tell you, teacher, I can prophesize a lot of things. Like
right.
next year, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a big earthquake somewhere in the world. There's gonna be a big flooding somewhere in the world. Someone important is gonna die, and there's gonna be more economical crisis somewhere in the world. And that's easy. I
Yeah.
mean, that
Well,
to
the
me
economic
happens.
crisis is really easy to
Yeah.
predict. Yeah. Right. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. The whole thing with the weather, I'm not alarmed. I'm not panicking, but the whole thing with the weather, it's clear. I mean, I can read measurable data, temperatures and levels of glaciers, and I know all about. I mean, I can read data, and the fact is they can figure out data going back thousands or millions of years. And it's not that the things have never changed before, it's that things have never changed so fast. That's what's alarming. That's what I think. The whole
I don't
parts.
believe that, teacher. Sorry, but I don't believe that. I mean,
Well, look it up. Noah.
extreme changes have happened. Like for example,
No,
in the
they have not.
Precambric era, human just started to bloom all over the world. Life started to bloom all over the world without any specific reason.
You know, look
So
at NOAA. Look at the CIA fact book. They can do ice core samples. They can figure out within like 20 years how much CO2 has changed parts per million. It's just is. I mean, okay, you can call me a liar, but you can look it up. I feel free. They can
oh,
figure out
I believe you, but
exactly what the CO2 levels were,
I
and
can
it's
show you the
never
same. I can show
changed
you.
this fast in this short a time, ever.
Yeah, that's the thing with science. I can show you the same amount of data, saying exactly the opposite of it. So that's the thing
Go
with
ahead.
science. I
I'd
mean,
love to see it
science is like a
because
religion.
I've searched and searched for it and I can't find it.
That
So
actually,
I'd
the thing
love you
with
to show me that.
the
I
thing with the
challenge you.
internet is that you find what you want to find. When you look it up, you can find anything. You can find any belief. You can find scientific saying anything and contradicting each other. So I
Okay.
mean, it is difficult to trust in science. It's like trusting in any religion itself. So yeah, data, there is plenty of it, going both sides.
I think it's the big debate here.
Sure. Sure. You know, well, maybe I don't really think of science as a religion. I think of it as an analytical way to think. Science is not about this is the way it is. Science is theory. Science is dynamic. It continues, and the theory is this, the theory is that. When people say science is wrong or science is, no, it's a continuing thought process. You're not thinking about what science really is. It's a continuing theory and growing and evolving that idea. It's like language, actually. It's like the English language. It's not static. It's dynamic. It's continually changing. It's ideas and concepts that swivel and pivot and change very slowly through time. And I don't know. You know, the way people think about science, also the way people think about English language sometimes drives me crazy because I'm a teacher and they want to know what are the answers, teacher, what are the rules? Well, the answers and the rules change constantly. What I tell you today will not be true in 6 months. So you
Well,
cannot look at it that way.
look at science 100 years ago. It was
Right,
totally different. And
right,
500 years ago, it was totally different. So,
exactly.
yeah, I do believe that it's a process, an analytic process, as you say.
Right.
But we are humans, and we make mistakes, and sometimes we
Mhm.
don't want to accept them. And we build
I agree.
theories over theories, and at the end we get to a dead end, and we don't want to go back. That will be tearing tearing down everything we believe. So I believe that
Which,
I'm not talking about science itself, but
right.
scientific. They tend to be, close-minded sometimes. They just want to believe their own theories. And I don't trust people. Just I don't trust what people say. Uh, and as I'm telling you, I mean, I've been looking up about global warming for quite some time myself. And I find everybody saying everything, and everybody has their own data and their own studies, and every university comes up with his own theories, and it's difficult to believe. I mean,
Well,
that's what I think.
what I'm saying is I believe some of the data, I have to believe it because I've seen it from 10, 20 different sources. So I'm going to believe that. I sometimes hear contradictory data, as you said. I have to see the data and draw my own conclusions. The theories are theories. You're absolutely right. I don't know if the data that I'm reading, it's so complex. Weather systems, my goodness. It's so complex. I don't know if that means that there's going to be an ice age or we're all going to boil in a bubbling sea of vapor. I don't know, and I don't think any scientist knows the inevitable outcome. The fact that things are changing and things are changing rapidly. I didn't believe this overnight. I've been researching and looking at this for 20 years. Furthermore, people say that climate change is this new idea, and there I have to call the concept that, oh, climate change is just this thing that people just thought of to try to make money from governments and have people pay higher taxes. That I'm calling a big fat BS. Climate change has been around for about 500 years, the whole concept of climate change. And work was done on CO2 and methane models back in the 1800s. So this has been around for, even the whole idea of climate change caused by gases has been around for 200 years. And the theories have changed and modified. Yes, indeed. But the fact that people have been studying this, that it's new and this is some plot to make money from people, and for me, that's just entirely insane, because the science has been around for a couple hundred years. This is not new by any stretch of the imagination, and that's quite documented. If you actually care to look it up, it's quite documented. There's been historically scientists, weather scientists, and people involved in looking exactly how these things like CO2 build up and methane and the effects and blah, blah, blah. It's been going on a long time. So it's not new. There were scientists predicting in the 1850s that climate change would be caused by rising methane and carbon dioxide levels. This is not a new thing. So that kind of that's one of the arguments I hear when I talk about climate change, and I just have to squash that one because it's.
Well, some of the arguments I've heard is that actually the amount of CO2 that we produce is minimum in comparison with other sources, natural sources that produce it. So.
True and false, which is both true and false. Volcanoes produce an enormous quantity of carbon emissions. So when there's a volcano blows, one big volcano can blow as much into the atmosphere as mankind can in a year. Absolutely true. Yeah, so it's true and false. It's just humans keep, doing what humans do. We're, constantly, every minute of every hour of every day, and there's more and more of us, which is another enormous part of the problem. There's so many of us. The population is huge.
What bothers me a little bit about these people that believe in this global warming is that they suddenly are alarmed about this. I mean, we should have been taking care of the environment a long time ago for the right reasons.
Yeah, well, I agree, and here's the thing. Let me. I just saw a study yesterday, and it was from one of these international environmental agency group. I don't know. Can't remember exactly. I wish I could, so you could look it up. But I read the article. I really liked it. Why did I like it? Because instead of saying running around, like Chicken Little, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. This article explained, there are other things that cause global warming besides CO2, methane. Methane would be relatively easy to cut down on in modern human society. I mean, that's about 25% of what the gases that may cause global warming. There are simple things that people can do, and there are things this organization is going to do. We think our own actions with donations we already have can cut down 10%. They're not saying, let's throw money at the problem, let's freak out. They're saying, oh, look, it's not all bad news. We can actually reverse some of this. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is I agree that the whole chicken with your head cut off attitude is crazy, but here's another thing. In regards to pollution and weather, they go together. I remember in the United States, frankly, the rivers. I grew up in the country, and the rivers in the city. I went to Boston Harbor, and it's like you could walk across the harbor. There's so much pollution. Cleveland, the river caught on fire 2 or maybe 3 times. The river caught on fire. In the mountains, in the very mountainous, beautiful area where I live, the tops of the mountains were orange because the trees were dying from sulfur dioxide emissions causing acid rain. Now, did I believe it? Yes, I did, because I saw green trees when I was a child and orange dead trees when I was a teenager. There was a change I could see with my eyes. The United States government, EPA, and the government actually made some changes, rules and laws that prevented people from putting unfiltered sulfur dioxide into the air. Wowee, guess what? 10 years later, the mountaintops are green. There's fish in the rivers. It can be done. It's not like, let's all kill ourselves, it's too late. We can actually do things. I've seen it with my own eyes. And I, for whatever your motivation is, or whatever you theorize could or could not happen, I agree with Julio, there's no reason not to do it. There's no reason to throw up your hands and say, it's hopeless. In my opinion. That's just my opinion, of course.
I totally agree with you.
Well,
I think yes, it's a fact, and we see that in our life. I mean, if we compare our life or our environment before 20 or 25 years when we were children, with now, it's big change, and I think, as I say, there is a lot of reason, but main reason, or one of the reasons, is the pollutions, or the carbons and what the people generate in our plate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Have you Libya? I know things are a bit messy now, to put it moderately. But has there been any positive changes in Libya in regards to like pollution and things like that? We're kind of off the topic of weather, but we're related, and who cares?
To be honest, in Libya, everything is I mean, going where worst. And,
Worse and worse.
Yeah, worse and worse, because if you want to enhance, or if you want to get any enhancement, you need to, as you said, you need to use to have rules, laws. But in Libya, we have last time we have dictator, which is Al-Gaddafi. Now he is dead.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we lost the government itself. We don't have government now. So we are in an unstable situation. So.
Plus, Libya is primarily an oil/gas producing economy, right?
Yeah, but the problem is we don't invest. I mean, the problem in Libya, we don't invest this money in the infrastructure. So we don't have infrastructure. Yes, and also there is a lot of corruptions. Not a lot, is maybe we are in the top of the. If you see the corruption, so I think we're suffering. We're still suffering. Yeah, from maybe 50 years or something like this.
Yeah, that's tough. It's really tough. And because it's so extremely tied to the economy in some countries, Libya, Venezuela, look what's happening with Russia right now. Oh, geez. Because gas and oil is so intricately tied into these economies, as far as them doing much for pollution and or climate change, global warming, if you believe in it or not, whatever, or at least we do know fossil fuels pollute at the very least. Doing anything about it in some countries is just pointless. they almost can't, and I almost understand that. I mean, what are they going to do? If they starve people? You can't starve people, you
Yeah, I
know?
think Libya, especially for the gas and oil, because it's far away from where we live. I mean, in desert, it's
Uh-huh.
about 1,000 kilometers
Oh, really?
from
Yeah.
the coast. But I think what happened in Libya about the change of the weather, the people cut the trees and they build the buildings and so on. So I think the desert come to us. I mean, even affect Malta and Italy or some Europe country. The I mean uh, the south of Europe infected by a lot of wind came from Libya because there's no border. It was border by trees, but now the people cutting the trees, so
Uh,
it's big. Yes, it's like the desert. The desert come to the coast or something like this.
yeah, deforestation. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, another thing, talking about pollution and weather, I just think it's hard for me to deny that everything is not in balance. Nature itself is all about balance. Living a healthy lifestyle is about balance, eating balanced diet, and you know, having a healthy mental life is about balance. When I look at the world, it's about balance. And it seems to me that having an enormously huge human population that 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 does completely unnatural things must change the balance. It doesn't make sense to me. I realize that the Earth is very, very. It can bounce back. It's extremely strong and able to bounce back. I was saying it. I was giving examples of how I've seen the Earth bounce back from man-made problems before I know it can happen. But nonetheless, it's hard for me to believe when you keep throwing the things out of balance from what naturally occurs that something won't happen. Seems like something must happen. If I eat nothing but bubble gum for the next 10 years, I'm pretty sure something's going to happen. uh, Something. I'll be popping bubbles
Um,
out my butt, if nothing else.
well,
Uh, anyway,
there is a lot to say about this.
there it is.
The only thing that really, I don't know, as I was telling you before, bothers me is that our attitude towards who we are as part of this big change, of this big
Hmm.
spider web that is nature. And even though every year catastrophes like cuts us down to size, we got this uh, attitude of like, okay, it happened, it was an earthquake, it was a flooding, okay, but now we recover, now we build bigger buildings, we build
Yeah,
bigger walls, and we will continue doing the same thing over and over again. So it doesn't
right.
really get to inside of us and say, okay, like what happened with the Katrina thing in United States. I
Yeah.
mean, those people they were really affected. They lost their families, they lost their house, and I'm pretty sure today their attitude towards the environment is exactly the same because that happened here in my country, and
Yeah.
it happens everywhere. We don't really change from the inside, and I don't like these external influences like global warming and floodings and the polar
Uh,
caskets melting. I don't think those are the right reasons to change. It has to be
ah,
something else, something from
okay.
inside.
That's that I can get behind, Julio. I agree with you on that. I really do. I strongly agree with you on that. It's a very good point. I wish I knew the answer how to get people to change from the inside. I understand your point. I think it's very valid. Um, Very interesting and controversial discussion today. Very good. Thank you very much, Nader, Khaled, Julio. Thank you. That woke me up. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. It's
Thanks a lot.
a good discussion. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
See
terrific.
you. Thank you, Nader, Jolly. Thank you all.
Okay.
Bye.
See you, gentlemen, soon in the future. I hope. Have a great day or great evening, as it may be. Bye for now.
Okay.